Like the video and subscribe to our channel right now and get 1 week of amazing luck.
Sometimes people mess up, make mistakes, and cause problems. Most of the time, people make rather common mistakes.
However, in the hands of a small ship captain, errors can spiral out of control and become enormous disasters.
Here are the top 10 biggest ship collisions.
Number 10.
Cargo ship approaching too close.
The Bosphorus Strait, sometimes referred to as the Istanbul Strait, is a 19-mile-long waterway that joins the Marmara Sea with the Black Sea. This finally leads to the Atlantic Ocean, the Mediterranean Sea, and the Aegean Sea.
Obviously, it's an important body of water. Regardless of snow, sleet, or rain, vessels move through. The Istanbul region was severely affected by a massive snowstorm in mid-January 2017. There was almost little visibility, but that wouldn't stop ships from moving.
When they noticed a massive cargo ship approaching too closely for comfort, locals gathered close to the strait.
Kazanın kralı son saniyeler, son. Yoksa şu an bu otel yoktu. Böyle bir şey yok ya. Semih. O ne oğlum?
Oğlum oraya çeksene.
Dur çekeceğim. Herif bilim kurtardı lan.
The tale goes that during the snowstorm, the ship was blown off course by strong winds. It was piled with cargo containers to roughly 100 feet above the ground. If it slammed onto the seawall, there's no telling how much damage it would have caused.
Thank goodness, the experienced captain was able to swerve at the last moment, narrowly averting disaster.
Officials blocked the Istanbul Strait for several hours following the incident until the storm passed. We suspect that someone high up decided it wasn't worth the risk after witnessing how near that ship came.
International trade would have to wait a few hours.
Number 9. Incorrect decision on ship. The Southeast Asian nation of Bangladesh is located near the northernmost point of the Bay of Bengal.
With almost 170 million inhabitants, it is positioned near India.
That equates to roughly half of all Americans living in a nation the size of Illinois.
Unfortunately, incidents like this one from 2021 that occur at sea are common in Bangladesh.
The November 1, 2021 ferry tragedy was overshadowed by 3 previous incidents: a May 1, an April 1, and a late December 1.
Although the cause of this incident is unknown, it was undoubtedly frightening for all those concerned. Vehicles and people attempted to escape as quickly as possible as the ship rolled. Individuals and trucks began to jump off the ship, and the scene quickly turned chaotic. As the weight was released, the ferry continued to list. This indicates that the exit ramp continued to rise. The final driver out had a difficult choice. Either try to clear the ramp or abandon the vehicle and jump to safety. Clearly, they made the incorrect decision. Things get extra scary when a woman is found trapped on the side. The footage cuts without showing how she got there. We think she climbed from an upper section and waited as the ferry listed to move onto the side. Off to the left, you can see another man climbing down and swimming away. A few more people join her up top. They consider jumping into the water, but the crowd begs them not to. At the end of the day, the safest place to be was on top of that sinking ship. Number 8. Ship collision with tugboat. The Chao Phraya is a multi-source river that empties into the Gulf of Thailand after passing through Bangkok in northern Thailand. A thick fog passed over the Bangkok approach channel on October 11, 2022. Seeing beyond the bow of your ship was difficult, particularly on bigger ships.
A container ship registered in Liberia, the Vassie Star, made her way into the water.
Meanwhile, 4 enormous barges were being dragged toward the city by a tugboat. It was too late for either to see the other.
The tugboat had 4 barges in tow.
Each was carrying coiled metal sheets when the Vassie Star smacked into them. The Maha Nakhon II sustained the most damage and sank along with its cargo. Thankfully, nobody got hurt during the crash.
Our cameraman on the tugboat was lucky the container ship hit the barge and not their vessel. Aftermath footage shows where they left the sunken barge and its watery grave. Authorities urged other boaters to avoid the area until crews could get out and remove the wreck.
Number 7. Big ship collides with small cargo. The Singapore Strait is 12 miles wide and 70 miles long. It links Singapore's east coast's South China Sea with its west coast's Malacca Strait. Every day, almost 2,000 ships will pass through these seas. They cover the whole range, from tiny merchant ships to enormous bulk carriers. You'd think it would be difficult for 2 ships to collide, especially the larger ones, with all that open ocean.
That's exactly what occurred on March 4, 2013, though.
A smaller cargo ship was attempted to be overtaken by the Vietnamese bulk carrier Bixalo. Rather, they unintentionally performed the ideal open water pit move. According to the local authorities, Bex was attempting to pass the smaller ship but was unable to veer out of the way because of oncoming traffic.
They thus attempted to carry out this very dangerous maneuver. Sadly, the smaller ship made a disastrous maneuver to the left. The Singaporean Coast Guard sprung into action and rescued crew members on board the smaller ship.
Thankfully, everybody was okay and happy to be back on dry land.
Somehow, the crash didn't disrupt shipping traffic on the Singapore Strait. Number 6.
Big cruise versus tugboat. Germany's Papenburg is home to the historic Meyerwerft shipyard. When they were first established in 1795, they produced tiny wooden ships.
They are well known nowadays for creating luxurious cruise liners. The 1,000-foot Norwegian cruise ship The Escape was nearing completion in September 2015.
It was going backward down the Ems River, its route to the North Sea.
It passed a small wharf along the route that was home to a few tugboats. What had looked like a typical sail became an absolute disaster.
The tugboat was able to be submerged in water due to the force generated by the side propellers creating a wave.
While the cruise liner continues to move, a number of people rush outside to attempt to save the tugboat.
Whether or if the captain was aware of what happened is unknown. Although the sinking tugboat was a tragic accident, the architectural marvels of luxury cruise liners are demonstrated in this video. The majority of them are longer than 1,000 feet and feature 20 decks. There are thousands of cabins, rooms, and facilities there for visitors to use. On top of this one, a water slide is visible. Building a contemporary cruise ship can easily cost $1 billion, according to Royal Caribbean.
Everything hinges on the ship's capability. Anything that can accommodate over 3,000 people is easily $750 million. It's safe to say the sinking tugboat didn't hurt Norwegian's bottom line. Number 5. Crane collapse. The largest city in Belgium is Antwerp, which is home to over 536,000 people. Additionally, one of the biggest shipping ports in the world, the Port of Antwerp, is located there. Ships depart by way of the Scheldt River, enter the North Sea, and proceed to their ultimate destination. Ships entering ports travel a similar path. On December 9, 2019, a 1,000-foot container ship from Mexico City docked at the port of Vaasland, an outpost of Antwerp's major center. While it was tangled in the water, the crew awaited orders. At that moment, the wind increased and propelled the container ship off course. Watching the boat drift near the port and a huge loading crane was all anyone could do.
Reports stated that the wind speed exceeded 46 miles per hour. It behaved more like a steel sail, the behemoth. Gripping the wind, it tore itself free from its anchor. The local government made every effort to divert the ship.
To try to avert the disaster, tugboats and other boats were sent out.
Fortunately, no one was harmed when the crane fell. Soon after, the Coast Guard showed up and anchored the vessel. It was not going anywhere this time.
Before it could set sail again, the ship needed repairs after sustaining minor damage.
On the pier, however, they had an even bigger headache to clear up.
After Rotterdam in the Netherlands, the port of Antwerp is the second busiest in all of Europe. An accident like this, as you may guess, sets them back a great deal.
Reopening the port and removing the debris took several days.
Number 4.
Cruise ship's engine fail.
Seeing all of Italy in a single holiday is difficult.
Italy, Sicily, Tuscany, the list is endless. Travelers to northern Italy typically end up in the vicinity of Venice.
The 118 little islands on which the city is situated are divided by waterways. It's one of the most unusual places on Earth, with over 400 bridges connecting every part of the city.
It is evident that navigating those canals requires a large number of tiny boats. However, what would happen if a massive cruise liner attempted to port close by?
Thus, on June 2, 2019, a ship under the name of MSC Opera made an attempt to learn more.
Not a very good pilot.
Dead triangle.
Well, we don't have to get off the boat.
Hold on.
Hold on.
Hold on, it's getting the pier.
Oh my god. Oh my god. Are you kidding me?
No. Let's push that boat out of the way at least.
it now. Hold on, hold on, hold on.
I'm holding on to it. I think we've gone straight through the pier. By the look of it. We haven't hit it at speed. I think our trip's was full. Well, what happened is that you did get steering the boat, didn't steer it right. When I saw him turn on.
And we weren't moving.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
I just hope nobody got hurt down below.
I know.
I have no one saw, no one got through there. Yeah, they hit the boat.
To be clear, cruise ships are accommodated by particular waterways in Venice. It'd be silly if it didn't, given all the tourism. The captain was not at fault for this mishap. After the engine failed, the ship started to drift in the direction of the pier. The ship was too large for tugboats to stop it from colliding, so they raced to try to stop it.
The locals had some unpleasant things to say about the crash. It was a question of time until something similar occurred. To them, these cruise ships are more of an eyesore, if anything.
Even the mayor, Luigi Brunero, called for a change. There's no way these ships can keep passing through Venice without another major incident. Number 3.
2 cargo ships crashed.
The system of international ocean trade is extremely unstable.
The entire house of cards can fall with a single, little error.
Thus, everyone was curious as to what transpired when 2 cargo ships crashed in the Marmara Sea on October 24, 2021. The Benitamu, a 1,000-foot vessel, was bringing cast iron ore from Ukraine to China.
In the meantime, wheat was being transported from Egypt to Bulgaria by the BC Vanessa, a somewhat smaller ship. Both ships sailed for an anchor zone in the Marmara Sea at about 6 in the morning local time. They would then proceed to enter the Aegean Sea by crossing the Dardanelles Strait. At that point, a dense fog began to cover the area, significantly decreasing visibility. Water began to flow in and the hull was damaged when the BC Vanessa practically T-boned the Benitamo. Despite having significant damage to its bow, the Vanessa managed to sail to an anchorage in eastern Turkey. The crew of the Benitamo and themselves were the true cause for concern. The ship was either anchored at the scene of the collision or dead in the water. The people were staying put, anyway.
Thankfully, a few tugboats and salvage vessels were around to save the crew.
Nobody got hurt during the crash, and the Benitamo eventually joined Vanessa at the Turkish salvage yard.
Number 2.
Carnival cruise in storm. After Huntsville, Mobile, Alabama is the state's second biggest city. Located on the Gulf of Mexico,
It serves as the only saltwater port in Alabama.
the city's economic well-being has always been significantly influenced by the Port of Mobile.
It started off as a French Native American trade post. It is currently the 12th largest port in the U.S. In 2013, Bay Systems, a ship repair company, was based in the port.
Sadly, a decline in sales compelled them to reduce staff and shut shop a few years later.
During their run, one of their workers captured some amazing footage. During a storm, a Carnival cruise liner broke loose and was sailing directly for them.
Kissing it. Oh, connection, baby. Holy moly. It damn sure did, son.
According to Carnival, high winds caused the ship to break free. The wind surrounding the Mobile shipyards reached at about 66 miles per hour, according to the National Weather Service.
When it broke loose, the Carnival cruise liner was already undergoing repairs. The projected cost of repairs before the catastrophe was approximately $5 million. That price tag might have easily risen or tripled following the crash. Number 1.
Cruise near beach. The 902-foot-long MSC Harmonia is a 65,000 gross tonnage cruise ship that takes an expert eye to steer. Unfortunately, the crew in control in April of 2018 probably needed more training because they completely miscalculated their approach to a port in Honduras.
As the footage shows, it appears to be traveling towards the dock at an unusual angle, and with too great a speed. What happens next feels inevitable. It crashed into the dock, causing a number of structures to fall into the water, and instead of stopping, it continued on around the shoreline to a nearby beach, where it deployed its anchor. A few moments later, it reversed out into ocean waters, but quite how this happened still isn't clear.
According to the cruise company that operates the ship, it had been scheduled to stop at the port, but they weren't sure how its route deviated so much that it grazed the end. Fortunately, no one was injured and the damage was minimal, but it could have been a very different story.
The ship was able to continue on its 14-day cruise around the Caribbean, although everyone on board probably held their breath a little every time it approached a port for the rest of the trip.